Hello, Voltron fans, and welcome back to another episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Voltron After Show. Today we're covering episodes 10 and 11, so we've got the Season 1 season finale and a very special guest. We'll see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
So Megan picked the opening music today.
Well, yeah,
How could we not?
Come on.
It's pretty dang glorious, let's be real.
We're watching a space opera.
And I'm pretty sure that these two episodes just wrecked us all.
Yes.
I think I can speak for everyone for this.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. We are looking at episodes 10 and 11, Collection and Extraction, and the Black Paladin. As you may have noticed, we are short one tonight. Our Red Lion, Emma Fyfe, is off on a solo mission. She's gonna go take down she's gonna go try to take down the final boss herself. So, God help her.
Classic Red Lion. I know.
She's at Salt Lake City Comic Con. Go say hi. She's got like 5 panels or something. It's crazy. But with me is the wonderful Blue Lion, Alexis Torres.
Oh, just ready to go. Hi, guys. You can find me all over social media at atorres890.
Green Lion, Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter at TheMenguin, that's TheMenguin.
And I'm Black Lion Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet, that's Kiaxet. We have the hashtag ABTV Voltron. We have the live chat up. Actually, if you can zoom in on the live chat, I cannot read that. That would be great. So if you have any comments, any questions, anything you want to put in there, throw them in the hashtag, throw them in the live chat. You may well get a shout out. Or if you have any questions for our very special guest, Space Dad himself, Josh Keaton.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Best shirt ever.
Oh my God! For those of you listening on iTunes, he's wearing a shirt that says #1 Space Dad.
I actually had this made especially for the show.
I want one.
Yeah.
That's great.
I want one
That's
so
awesome.
much.
Sweet.
Oh my God.
And I told you that she was going to want a shirt.
I have a
She did
few
tell me
friends, I think at PAX this weekend, who are doing shirts in different colors that say, if found, return to Shiro. And then my friend has a shirt that says, I'm Shiro.
Also, there's that Voltron shirt that I showed you that had the old Voltron and the new Voltron on a
Like
on
a playing card,
on
yeah.
a playing card that I found out is going to be discounted for the next 48 hours. So
You gotta show me where to get that.
yeah, I will for sure.
T-Public, right?
I think so. If not, I'll have to find all the information.
great
So
shirts.
it was a podcast who told me about it.
Yeah.
So I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll tweet it out.
These episodes, let's talk about this. Holy cow. I'm just gonna lie down and die somewhere,
I'm just gonna
you
be
guys.
crying in a corner. Just don't worry about
It
me.
is a testament to how good this show is that we're so angry
Yes.
with the way that things have been left. At least I'm angry. Are you guys angry? I'm a little angry.
I am verklempt. I can't handle that.
And I'm evilly laughing about it. I know what happens, and so
Well, yeah, you've already recorded season 2 at this point.
yeah, we're
Like,
still
that's
doing
in the
like
bag.
ADR and all that for the later episodes. But yeah, I mean the stuff's already done.
So that little bit that was in the trailer that dropped at Comic-Con, you know the context for that. guys.
yeah.
We will talk about that when we get into predictions. We actually have a prediction section, you guys.
Yay!
It's not usual for this show because we all binge watched it.
Yes, we did.
but
3 weeks later, we should talk about this on the air. That'd be great.
I am curious though, like recording for a show like this, it's probably really different than when you record for other shows that get released over a longer period of time. For Netflix, they drop it all at once and
Yes.
everyone just gets overwhelmed.
Yes and no. I mean, they still have the same amount of lead time, and I mean, it still goes on a similar schedule. But yeah, there's definitely a waiting period in between, when the show is out, and then when you know whether or not you're going to get another season, or there's some of that. But I guess that happens really with everything. I think that the main difference would be more of a story thing, where they're able to write to a longer arc instead of having to have everything be so self-contained because it's episodic. They're able to really stretch out a storyline over a much longer duration.
Yeah, and we did have a few episodes this season that were a little more on the episodic side, but nothing was wasted.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing that isn't a seed that's gonna bear fruit sometime down the road.
That's why I'm like real
Sorry,
quiet.
that's just where I am right now.
Just steaming coming out.
Making awful noises. So let's actually talk about what we have in these episodes, because these episodes are pretty dang great.
Yeah, so good.
I want to talk about Keith. I want to talk about
we
Keith
have
in
to?
Collection and Extraction because, oh my god, Keith. Like, oh,
Calm
they're
down, Lance.
they're moving quintessence. I'm gonna steal some. Okay.
He just goes all secret agent on everybody.
He does. He's like, who are you trying to impress? Don't
I'm
answer
not
that.
I'm not impressed.
I was
No,
gonna
no.
say, I think we know who.
I just love Lance going, or you could not. You could stay here. I told him.
I love you, Lance.
You tried.
tried.
Here's
He
your
did.
gold
He
star.
did.
You tried.
Yeah, A for effort,
An
buddy.
attempt was made. And then he brought a sword to a magic fight.
Which, can we talk about how creepy that druid was?
The
They're all
druids are
creepy.
pretty nuts.
Like
that bird head twist.
Yeah,
thing,
like,
thing.
just the head tilt, like, hello.
I'm a big horror movie fan, so I appreciate a good head tilt from my creepy villain. But
Yeah.
like, ugh.
No, but even I don't like horror movies, and I was like, oh wow, that tilt was really good. Can we rewind that? Rewind, please.
It was like an extreme angle. It was way
Yeah.
more than you would see
And I was just
normally.
like,
And Hagar is the only druid where we've ever seen her face, and even then it's only half of it. The rest of the druids are like, we're in masks.
I'm like,
The greater good.
Yes,
are
the
they
greater
masks? Are they masks though?
Or are they just their weird bird-like
Maybe it's their
faces?
face. I don't
They're
know.
aliens. I like, and for those of you who watch our Ruby after show, to me the druids look a lot like if Grimm were people.
They're bird
Ugh.
grim.
Yeah, they look a lot like that. I don't know if that'll mean anything to anybody who
See,
doesn't
and
watch.
I watch too much Critical Role to trust anything with a bird mask.
Jeez.
Let's be
Fair enough.
completely real here. And all the critters in the audience are like, oh yeah, that arc.
I love everybody on that show, on Critical Role.
Yes, they're
Bunch
so
of friends of
much
mine.
fun.
Yeah, they're great. They're great.
We're recording against them right now, so
Ah, okay.
Thursday nights, everybody, Thursday nights. But yeah, they go through Sendaks Memories, and I just love the bits about, well, your father wouldn't approve of you doing this. Well, he's not here.
That was actually really funny to me because it's like she was confronted with that and she's like, yeah, but we still need to do everything that we can to defeat Zarkon.
It's like, well, Sendak didn't say he didn't like it. Sendak, if you have a problem, say something. Oh wait, you're in the vacuum of
Can't,
space.
can't hear you in the dark vacuum of space.
What was that? What
Any
was that?
objections? No?
Nothing. No. Of course, no one can hear him scream at space. All right, so let's keep doing what we're doing. And
I do like that they
I
touch
went
on
there.
like
I
already.
lived there.
We're already starting.
I do like the fact that they touch on the moral ambiguity of
Yes,
this.
they do.
This is probably not kosher, but
But we're gonna do
we're
it.
at a huge disadvantage, so we got to take what we're given.
Absolutely.
Chad has said that it's a space sword, and I don't trust druids.
Somebody,
so that's a good way to put it.
somebody earlier was talking about space sporks or something.
Oh, yeah, Hunk.
Oh yeah,
Hunk.
yeah, no, they're
Yes.
clearly sporks. That was from Jared Thompson. I love you.
Why have two
God
when you
bless
can,
Hunk.
when one tool will do the job?
Hunk is an
Absolutely.
incredible human being, and we need him.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love Hunk.
And it's just messing with the droid. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. Like, oh, honey, you're bored.
We get a lot of really good and much needed, I think, comedic beats from him and from Pidge in this episode.
Yes.
Because they're like where we leave this first episode is a pretty heavy place, and so kind of getting there, it was nice to just have a set of people set aside to still work on the objective, but also make jokes and hit each other with robots occasionally.
Oh, that was great.
And then the whole weekend at Bernie's thing where he... Well, Hunk's really good at doing that, like, because he did it in this episode, and then a few episodes back, didn't he do another thing with the hand and using it to get in? I mean, he really makes use of the droid hands.
Hunk is a Tony Stark level mechanical genius. Hunk, we're going back to the pilot here, built a Geiger counter for an alien
Yes.
element, essentially in a cave with a box of scraps.
I love how
Like,
smart he is. I love how smart Hunk is, and that he's not at all a one-note character, and he'll just rattle off stuff, and he's an amazing cook, and he's so cool, man.
I'm so glad they got rid of the motion sickness gag. Like,
Yeah.
that's the one thing
Well, he'll
that was
get
like,
used to
why?
it. He got used to it.
I'm pretty sure that the Yellow Lion just has a supply of space Dramamine, so it's never come up again.
We're just like,
for you, buddy,
like,
for
just
you.
brings it up like a little conveyor belt. Like, here's some bags, buddy. Got a town.
Like when the console starts glowing in certain places, it just raises up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thanks for that. But yeah, no, this is a character that can, in 1 minute, be spouting off a bunch of techno babble, and then the next, like be really concerned about getting to the punchline of his joke. Like, no, it was boring,
anyway.
but I'm telling the story.
Right.
I feel like it's just appeasing Lance, but I have an audience now.
Yeah, but I also like that he also speaks what we're kind of thinking, just like, it's like, we all nodded, right? Like, just little lines like that, I think is just fantastic. So I'm like, oh man, no one's ever said that in any anime or animation, so that's awesome.
I think he probably has a history of doing that with Lance.
Probably,
And just tell, okay, yeah, and then having to make his joke with Pidge. 'Cause Pidge is right there with him. Pidge gets it. Lance is, off trying to get some girls.
Well,
Doing his best. He's doing his best. He's trying.
He is. He really does try hard.
So we go full dumpster fire in this episode.
I'm so glad you brought that
I'm
up.
never letting go of that. That
No,
is-
it's
perfect.
too beautiful.
It's so great.
And basically it's, okay, well, this crazy little planet that we have found is essentially useless because it's a stop-off point, but it doesn't have any data we need. That ship that's only here for 30 minutes, that has the data we need. Let's infiltrate that. And God bless Allura.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're kind of a chameleon species, and by the way, we randomly have super strength.
That was crazy.
Out of left field.
Hi, what? Just that moment on Shiro's face where it's like, wait, this is an escort mission. Who's the escort?
Right.
Well, and I like that we have this conversation too about whether or not she should even go
And I love
on
that.
this mission.
And then she was just like, well.
Everyone looks at Shiro like, well, what's Dad gonna say? And Dad's like, I don't know, ask your mother.
Well, Shiro was okay with it. He just didn't want her to go alone.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to help out and be there, but he didn't really have any reservations about her actually going. Like,
And then she winds up being the MVP of this mission.
yeah,
I mean, I've always thought
Just
she was
like,
the
nope,
MVP.
you need to make it to the ship. Just throw him like a sack of potatoes 50 yards into a closing ship. Like,
Crazy.
What?
do all tans have football?
Well.
Embedded the other guy into the wall through the door.
Yeah!
She
Helmet
smashes
cut,
through.
like his helmet, he like dips out of his own helmet. I was like, what is happening?
That man should be dead.
He probably is. Let's just be honest.
Which is a shame because they
Murder man.
spent about a minute or so humanizing.
That dialogue was fantastic. I love how she was leaning up against the wall, just chatting. I was like, this is the best.
The bloodthirstiness.
It's okay, I get
comment.
his name wrong too.
Yeah.
And I love how his bloodthirstiness is like just, he's not.
Three.
It's like
He's
right in the
being
middle.
honest.
Right in the middle, yeah.
And like everybody
That
can identify
bloodthirsty.
with having a boring job. Like anybody
God,
who's
yes.
ever worked retail or a night shift or
Oh.
anything like that's
Preaching
easily.
to the choir over here.
It was a very Fire Nation moment.
Yes. was.
I was thinking about that as well.
And
Oh,
we're
that's
taking
crazy.
a moment to humanize the enemy, and that makes me wonder if at some point we're not going to have some Galra somewhere going, what if what we're doing is wrong? Like, this has just been our way of life the entire time. It's been this way for 10,000 years. Zarkon's a planet vampire. He's going to be around forever.
Well,
let's just... What if we're not doing the right
when the head honcho of your empire has like it can literally chop ships in half.
True.
And
You don't mess with him.
No, you're just like, yeah, okay, that's I'm
you
gonna do what I
just
want to do.
don't- Can we talk about how Keith was just bad decisions this entire 2 episodes?
I don't wanna
I'm
talk
gonna
about it.
steal it. I'm gonna fight a druid. Oh shoot, I am in way over my head. You know what? I'm gonna go fight Zarkon because I've obviously learned my lesson.
And Zarkon fights the lion by himself.
he didn't need a ship.
With the Black Bayard. Just
I mean, granted, he's juiced up full of like
quintessence.
Galroids.
Space
or-
magic.
Space Galroid magic.
We had that bit of converting quintessence, like, okay, so our space planet juice, we are converting it from lemon lime flavor to radioactive grape.
It looks more like a strawberry lemonade margarita.
Yes,
to
okay,
me.
that's what I was thinking of the entire
Nonetheless,
time.
radioactive grape. Because that's what we run on.
I don't know.
But I mean, I will say this about like as endearing as the original series is. Even as a kid, I never looked at Zarkon like, oh no, he's just the bad guy who can never get Voltron. But never get those.
Because that was every 80s cartoon villain. He was Claw, he was Cobra Commander, it was the 80s. They petted cats and got angry.
Yeah, they didn't really. They were
that
never
order.
effective at their jobs of trying to take over the world. This guy, you know, the way that he's presented in this show is both really intimidating, really cool, and also really scary.
Just like, well, this is terrifying.
I mean,
like,
we
okay,
talked about that too, about how terrifying he was from the minute we saw him in like the first episode. I was just like, yeah, no, this guy is just nope, honey bunches of nope.
It's just like, well, he's been around for 10,000 years, and that moment of how has he been around for 10,000 years? Oh, okay, they figured out how to make him a vampire. That's wonderful. He just beat up a lion with his own 2 hands and a stolen bear.
And he,
Well, not a stolen bear.
wrecked
Yeah.
everything. He wrecked Voltron. He wrecked Shiro. He just wrecked everyone.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Because also someone tweeted about it too, and I wanted to ask. So how come Laura and Coran didn't tell us who the black paladin
Yeah.
was?
They had to have known. I don't know if Coran knew.
good
Laura
question.
knew.
I was thinking about it when I first watched it, but I was like, maybe it's just something it's just in the back of my mind. It's probably not anything crazy.
And if you go back to the beginning of the series, she didn't say it was lost when the paladin died or it was stolen by the enemy. She just said it was lost with its paladin. And it's like, that's ambiguous enough.
Don't trust anything in passive voice. You can hide a lot in passive
Yeah,
voice.
so I'm wondering,
English major.
why? Why?
Because how do you tell people, oh yeah, by the way, this great weapon that we're using, the biggest enemy that we're fighting, used to pilot the dang thing.
Just
He
like
used to
that.
lead it.
Yeah, I would have liked to know that.
Those exact words.
I would like to know exactly that. That
Because
exact
you
sentence.
know that she knew the second she had that, wait, you brought Voltron here moment. Like, she knew what was going to happen. And she didn't bother preparing them for this.
Nope.
All of this information gathering stuff, and it's like, well, I'm sure she thought she was protecting them.
Yeah, of
Or
course.
maybe, to be fair, she probably knew, but to be fair, she
had
might
to have
not have known. I mean, we don't know how much she and Coran actually know. We don't know who the former paladins were. We have plenty of theories, but
She had to have known just from that reaction.
and we don't know what the breaking point was either, whether or not they kicked out Zarkon because he got power hungry, if like he was left for dead. So we have no idea what happened and why this guy felt the need to go, hey, you know what? Taking over the galaxy. That sounds like that's a great strategy. That's part of my 5-year
He
goal.
went Little Mermaid. Is that what you're trying to say?
I
want to be part of that world.
Where the people are. I want to conquer planets.
No.
Oh God.
No. Bad Katie.
No. Katie, yes. But that's what this was. Keith, no. Keith, yes.
But I mean, and he's gotten to the point where he's so strong now. It's like, do you even need Voltron?
I mean, just to add more, flame to the gas to the fire, I guess.
I'm gonna go
Doesn't hurt.
complete nerd and talk about
now?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Shut up.
I can't use the 4th Blue Eyes White Dragon. I just want it so it can't be used against me.
Oh, why would you do that to me? I didn't have to relive that. But yes. No.
Well, you know what? Probably the most unsettling moment of the entire bit was just him overriding, the controls on the Black Lion and ejecting Shiro out of it.
It's like getting back together with your ex.
Oh, no.
Hey, baby, we can make it work. Well, if you're sure. Oh, come on. You haven't been dating that nerd for very long. He doesn't know you like I do.
Oh, poor rebound Shiro.
Rebound Shiro.
Zarkon, the
Just a
pickup
single
artist.
space dad trying to make it.
Yeah.
Zarkon, the pickup artist.
God. But yeah, no, this whole, I don't even know how to go about like pacing out because there's just so much
lot.
in these 2 episodes.
I mean, I put these 2 episodes together in my brain.
Pretty
They're like
much.
literally one right after the other.
They're a 2-parter, let's be real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every time there's a pause in the conversation, we sit here and think about how much our feelings hurt.
It hurts
a
my
lot.
soul.
Let's do it. Let's talk about Shiro.
okay.
All right.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you. What I love about this, I never watched the old Voltron. She did. And so we went into this series with her going, oh, Shiro's gonna die. And I'm like, why would you tell me that? I have an immediate favorite. And then it's like, well, he's screwed. Great, thank you. So I go into these last 2 episodes with no small amount of trepidation going, he's probably gonna die and I don't think I can handle it. I might have to call in sick to work tomorrow, but we're gonna do this. I didn't call in for the red wedding. I will call in if Shiro dies. Like, that is my level of investment here.
But mean, it's impossible to talk about these 2 episodes without talking about the original series because the creators of the show know what they're doing, and they know that
they wanted to make a show that was as good as what they remembered.
Yeah.
Which is different from what it actually is.
This is true.
Which is great. It's allowed to be its own thing, but when you look at what the beats, the narrative beats from the original series with Shiro's counterpart, there is a distinct implication when you put him in the same room as Hagar. It's like, this is not gonna...
The many Hagars.
Yeah, this is not gonna end well.
Evidently that scene directly mirrors the scene in the original Voltron where Shiro/Sven died. And was horribly murdered by Hagar. So it's like...
Fine, they got him to a hospital. It's okay.
Yeah, he went to Space Hospital. He was okay.
We talked about anime and weird twin brothers who were never mentioned before and suddenly show
I was
up.
getting a bunch of random tweets and stuff like, oh, there's a twin brother. And I'm like, wait, are we talking about the same Voltron? What's happening?
We're talking about in the original anime, there was a random twin brother who was the exact same and showed up, and given the dub was, send me to a hospital, I need help. When the twin brother shows up, it was just like, what twin brother?
I'm back from the hospital.
Oh, man. I don't remember this. Like, and I watched the original, but I was really young, so like there were certain things that I remember, and I think it was pretty much a lot of what the writers are talking about, where I remembered it a certain way. I've watched it as of late. I don't feel certain parts of it have aged very well. I think some parts of it are still fantastic, and yeah, I mean, I definitely think that I don't know what I was saying.
It's still endearing as a product of the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. It still brings back a lot of those feelings of being a kid, and there's the big robot, and there's the transformation sequence, and there's a lot of that I remember, and yeah, I mean, I see that a lot of that's been put into this show, a new take on it. But yeah, I mean, the events I don't think are necessarily gonna stay the same or be identical. But they're, you take what works and you make a new story with it.
Yeah. So Voltron is your nostalgia, the original Voltron.
Yes.
What's it like being a part of this that may wind up being a new generation's nostalgia? How does that feel?
Awesome. Like, for one, I have a kind of a bucket list of things that I want to be involved in, and it's not coincidentally stuff that I grew up watching and loving or reading, like Spider-Man and now Voltron. Yeah, I remember when the audition for this came across my email, and I was like, I have to be a part of that. It's Voltron. And to now be part of it, and not just be a part of a Voltron production, but to be part of this Voltron production with the talent that's behind it, in terms of animation and in terms of writing and the cast it's amazing. It's amazing. And to see the story that they've been fleshing out, and I mean, I don't want to piss off any 80s Voltron fans or any Go Lion fans, but I really think that this is going to be the definitive Voltron, because it really takes what was established and just builds upon it and fleshes it out and makes you really care about these characters. It gives it a story that speaks to your emotions, your heart, and makes you hurt.
It's the Avatar team. I mean, they're real good at
Fantastic.
this.
Well, and especially when people get news of like reboots of their nostalgia, people can be accepting or not accepting, and
I think we all just kind of thought of the Ghostbusters reboot at that point, and all the crazy people.
But
Ghostbusters
I remember
was amazing.
Seeing the trailer from WonderCon for this, and immediately being like, "Whoa, this is a completely different caliber of show than I was expecting from just another 80s reboot."
Sure.
This show was really something special.
Well, and there was another Voltron reboot, God knows how long ago. They were doing a lot of those in the mid-2000s, and it fell by the wayside because I didn't even know it was a thing until Tumblr brought it up. Like, oh.
They had a pretty sweet theme song at the beginning. I remember that. It's like all hip hop and all that.
If that's the only good thing you can say about it,
I actually never saw that one.
I think I watched about 30 seconds of it, like when they were playing it on Nickelodeon, and then I was like, I think I have other things to do.
Like, we're good. Goodbye.
Not to rag on another show. That's not fair. But I mean, the show that we have here is really, really damn good.
Oh yeah.
No, I agree. And actually, speaking on the fact of theme music and anything like that, the music in the show is just
I love it.
Amazing. That's like
I-
one of my favorite things about the show.
I need the soundtrack. Is the
Yeah.
soundtrack on iTunes?
It is. It is.
Oh,
Yay!
wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like got so much 80s synth, and I love it. And the other thing that I think is that a lot of those same 80s synths find their way into the sound design. So when you're watching the robot fights, you hear a lot of the sawtooth waves and all of that, and these are all synths that really were used a lot in the 80s, and it's cool to hear that in the fight sounds and all of that, not just the music. I love it. I love it.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's so good.
Yeah.
Not to do another tangent, but like I loved. Speaking of beautiful, I loved how we actually got our paladins to work together, even though they got pretty much ripped apart in this fight scene. But I liked the fact that they were just like sword, and then already doing that, and then cannon back to that, because obviously we saw the team building exercises.
It was an incredible fight scene. The
It was.
choreography, the animation, the sound, just everything was like, this cannot last, but I will enjoy the heck out of it while it
Yeah.
does.
Well, and not to mention that we haven't seen a villain rip Voltron apart
Yeah.
before.
It hurts.
And that was very disconcerting. It's like, I didn't know they could do that.
This is
You're not
like-
allowed to do that.
And
do
what a cool development when you actually see the team working together. You see the growth in how the team started out, not even knowing how the hell to form Voltron, like standing in a pyramid or whatever. They didn't know what to do.
Cheerleader pyramid.
And then in this one, they get ripped apart. Shiro is out of commission. And everybody is now kind of stepping up and trying to fill the void that Shiro being out of the fight leaves. Like everybody is really working together like they've never worked together before in this episode, and I love to see that. I love to see the trajectory of it and to see the growth over the season.
I love it. It just Keith. God bless him.
He made me so
tearing
angry.
off after the black line. Like,
Yeah.
I can totally do
to be
this.
fair-
Also, who is this guy?
It was a stupid move, but to be fair, he got that cool new cannon.
He did.
And-
it
Whoa.
did nothing. But he did.
I mean, it
I
did a little.
Something.
It was still pretty cool, but
Like,
yeah.
I have leveled up. Congratulations. You're still massively underleveled for this.
Well, and again, this is
Good job, everyone.
It was effective, but it's still only semi-effective against a guy not really in armor. Just
Yeah.
which
Oh, can we
read
talk
his
about
face,
that too?
too?
Where he was just like, and slowly drift out of my armor as I Sailor Moon land onto the ship. I was like,
It was like my jetpack.
Piccolo getting ready for a fight.
No,
there goes
he
the
was
turtle.
thrown
There
out
goes
the
the
cave.
cave. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't see it.
He doesn't need to.
been a while.
That's how scary he is. You've omitted the neck crack. Oh, I don't need it.
But
I
I,
don't
mean,
get crepitus.
that is an
I
interesting.
just visited my chiropractor. We are good to go.
That is an interesting thing, though. When was the last time he actually had to step out of his spaceship and actually engage in a fight? He's
probably
probably
so
been
excited.
bored out of his mind. So I was like, yeah.
I feel like he didn't have to. I feel like he was making a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was gonna go get in the black line, and then that didn't happen, so it's like, oh, you're the one causing trouble. You're next.
One thing I thought was interesting about the weapon that Keith kind of just made happen was how similar it was to the big I win button on the chameleon robies, where where it kind of charges up the thing in the middle and the
Lasers for days.
yeah, like it was very similar to his main laser, not all the little ones, but where he actually kind of did this and charged everything up and then shot it out. It was almost identical.
So this is the third special thing that we've seen Red do.
Yes.
We have the sword, we have fire powers, and now we have this random Blastoise cannon from nowhere.
Well, and we still haven't
me I'm
seen
wrong.
what
No,
all
no,
of the
you're not.
Bayards do. Yeah, so
We just saw what the black one does.
See, okay,
Anything I want.
I'm like, what's happening? Is it
So-
just because you're the black lion? Is that what's happening?
Can we talk about the fact that in the opening, since we're talking about the Black Bayard,
This
that in
kills me
the
every
opening
time.
sequence of this show,
oh.
there's a bit where somebody is using the Black Bayard in the cockpit, but we don't see who it is.
They're in the armor. We see them use it. We never see their face.
That's not fair, show. You know what you did.
The show knows exactly what it's doing, and it doesn't care.
And it's upsetting.
Oh.
It's so good, but it's upsetting.
Can I
Allie
just
and the-
say
Sure,
that I
do
find
it.
it really just amusing that whenever and this is for everybody watching, that whenever you guys make a point that speculates on something, I see you guys like checking to see what my expression is, to see if it's confirmed or validated or like, is this am I on the right path with this?
So hot or cold?
And I'm trying to poker face right here. I'm just like,
It's called having a
Blink once for
conversation,
yes,
making eye
two for no.
contact.
just a little nudge, just a tiny one.
No, we're not going to ask you to break your NDA. Like we
We would
get how
never.
that goes.
We would never ask that.
right?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I have to say, Allie in the chat, she said Reddit is the special snowflake lion.
I love
And I just think it's adorable.
You know, there's the going theory that Keith might be part Galra.
Should we talk
Should
about
we- yeah,
that?
we
Let's
I was gonna
talk
say we
about.
should talk about that.
We had a bit of that in episode 10, potentially with the whole okay, grape juice screws you up and lemon juice makes it better. We haven't seen anyone else interact with pure quintessence.
True.
So we don't know if that's just a thing that happens or if it's specific to Keith.
Yeah.
But there's all these evidence that he may not be completely human. And so the best theory that I've seen, the theory that I love, is that
is this
he's
the one that's gonna wreck my life?
no, that's a Shiro
I
theory.
wanna know.
I'm not ready.
Is that he's part Altean and never knew and was raised on Earth. They're they're shapeshifters. So if he never had any reason not to do it, if he was always raised by humans, if this is what it looks like, well, okay then. So he wouldn't
Yeah.
even know.
And why bring in an element like having chameleon powers if that's not a potential plot thread later on down the road?
I mean, I thought for at least
Everyone
for
in
the
chat is
chameleon,
yelling.
I know. I see it so much.
The biggest piece of evidence that, yeah, he's able to use Galra controls just by touching them when everyone else has to use Galra tech to interact with them.
Yeah,
Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I was thinking that maybe they were gonna bring back the chameleon aspect just for Allura so that she can be more involved with everybody, just in case if she becomes the.
you never know. You never
You
know.
never know. She's gonna need that for a mission. Oh God, I need to
I'm
get
not
that.
looking. It's fine.
Just just checking. Oh man.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know
but yeah,
anything.
so I thought that maybe that's where that was coming from for my prediction, even though we're not there yet. But you know.
So it's a popular theory. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if it doesn't happen, but they have some splaining to do given everything they've
True.
shown us.
Yes.
The
And
same way that Shiro having a tracking chip in his arm is a theory that I will definitely buy given all the evidence.
No, for real.
and we've lamented this over and over again. We want more backstory for everybody.
Oh my
Yeah, 'cause
god.
the only backstory we got was about Pidge.
And it's
and a
stuff
little bit
that
of
for the
Lance.
most part we knew.
Yeah, true.
But we don't know. On one, I think I've said this before. On one hand, yeah, the most backstory we have is on the girl. That's awesome. And on the other hand, that's the most backstory we have on literally anyone.
Curses.
Give me more.
Just give me a full-on flashback episode.
That'd be
Divided
great.
7 ways. I don't even care. Just give me flashbacks.
Again,
I need them.
Wonderful storytelling that we are nerd raging out at the lack of story.
Yes.
At the lack of not having the next season just already for us on our Netflix queues. But yes,
Sometime this year, we think.
at some point. But
So we've
But
been told.
don't you think that like a lot of that, feeling as though they haven't really been that fleshed out also comes with the fact that you're able to binge watch the entire show in pretty much one sitting?
Yeah.
Like if you were waiting for it every single week, I mean this would have been a few months of watching and you get another season and then maybe you'll see it then. But when you do get to see it all at once, you want to see more, and that's why my mind's going away now.
That's okay. It's late.
It's
This is
late.
what happens when we record late.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
That's just, oh my god. And then we have, I wanted to talk about this bit of mechanics because this just bothers me. Like, okay, we have the Castle of Lions. We can only use wormholes with the princess. I'm like, hang on. We are really bad at backup systems here. We don't have a backup battery in case something happens to the crystal. And now we don't have a backup transportation system in case something happens to one of the only Alteans left around who can use it.
Well, in all fairness, they're the only ones left.
I
And it's like
know.
10,000 years.
But even when you build something like this, you want redundancies in your system because if something goes down, you have to keep functioning on the B system.
I was gonna say,
They
she
might
works
have
in
been
IT.
the
Tech support.
final
Yeah.
redundancy.
I'm tech support.
All the other redundancies might have been wiped out, and they might have been it.
And
It was the
here's,
last thing.
I mean, here's another thing, is that this show has been paced in such a way that if we took an episode to like park on a space planet, put up cloaking, and to go and get backups for everything, that would be a pretty boring episode.
I'm just pissed
I would
off
like
that they
to see
didn't have
Pidge.
them when they designed the castle 600
True.
years ago. It will always function.
Probably.
I'm like, the entire season, the castle was just not functioning. Yeah. Period. But I would like to see a Pidge episode of her trying to fix up the castle as much as she can and then just add a bunch of stuff to it.
I mean, she got the lion going. I don't know
Yeah.
why she couldn't add,
She
like,
hooked that thing up.
Yeah, I don't think Korean wants her touching anything in the castle. I think that's what that is.
it's like, I just need you to kind of hang out here and sit on this chair with these sensors for about half an hour.
Don't touch
And
anything.
that way we will get, and that way we will get enough of your essence that we can power the castle if something goes wrong. Because lo and behold, things go wrong.
Especially
That's
when
like
Alora's
the summary
trying
of
to,
the
like,
show.
Mission Impossible her way
Well,
out of the...
And not to mention,
castle.
not only is it just devastating that she gets captured just from a character standpoint, and again, that was a very beautiful moment of just like, you know, seeing her smile as like, you know, she's about to get
Well, you saw what she did, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did to Shiro what Shiro did to Matt Holt.
Yeah.
She basically did what Shiro did for him. And it was kind of like a whole revisiting of that moment for Shiro, at least. I mean, where she throws herself in front of the fight and saves him, which is exactly what Shiro did.
Well, and can you
He got
imagine
to relive
Shiro
that.
back in Galra captivity?
No,
why?
no.
Yes, I've thought about it a lot. I've thought about it a lot.
I want to know your headcanons.
Well, I actually talked about it on another podcast, and I think that the way I'm trying to remember exactly how I put it. He was the champion, which means that he fought a lot, and I'm assuming these were probably fights to the death. And I'm also assuming that not everybody put in front of him was probably a gladiator or a fighter, and he probably was made to fight people a lot like Matt, or alien species a lot like Matt Holt. And you still got to win. You still got to finish it. And I mean,
And
how
the
many,
rest.
yeah, and how many times do you think that's going to happen before he starts kind of not wanting to remember it? And maybe he didn't want to do it, and maybe the whole arm was something that was put on there so that he would always finish it, and not necessarily through his own control. And I mean, wouldn't you repress? Wouldn't you not want to think about that? Wouldn't you have terrifying flashbacks from that? I mean, there's that. It's. I'm sorry that I'm doing this to you, but
But it's so true. That's what makes it so sad.
and I don't know. I have no idea what the writers had in store when they thought about that. But I mean, just as an actor, this is what I was thinking about. I mean, that's what I was assuming happened. That's where I assume maybe the arm came from. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of ugly.
Well, and we've gone fairly dark places on this after show. The idea that they probably killed prisoners at some point just by blowing up Galra ships. Because, boy, it's a good thing there were only 6 prisoners on this entire ship.
Yeah, or yeah, because the opening of the series, you see just all of these cells in just one ship. It's like,
It's like
that's
when they build
unfortunate.
all those model home communities and then only like 3 families ever move
Oh,
in. So there's all
oh.
the empty houses.
What are you doing to me?
But yeah,
We've done some dark stuff.
Well, and we touched on it a little bit in when he's sort of having that conversation with Sendak. But yeah, we
Conversation.
Conversation.
Right.
I don't
You're
know.
a broken soldier. You
Extremely
can't hold out
one-sided.
forever.
Oh,
Conversation in air quotes. But when
Ooh.
and then again having this confrontation with the person who did all this to him, like I made you strong and this is how you repay me. It's just like
You could have been our greatest weapon. Like, nope.
he's got a gun.
Slowly. Nope.
And the
And
dark
did
Shiro.
anyone notice that
Oh,
God!
With the eyes and the
Let's be real.
darkness.
If Shiro wasn't brainwashed before, he is now. Let's
Yeah.
be completely real. You don't hallucinate things and sink into darkness if someone isn't actively screwing
And
with
we
you.
cut away from that conveniently to go to the fight outside. Now everybody, without making eye contact with Josh, just like he's a sleeper cell, right? He's gotta be a sleeper
There is no
agent.
way
like,
he is not a
can't
sleeper
say anything
agent
'cause
at
I'm
this
here.
point. And I want it so badly. I want him to wind up being brainwashed at the end of season 2, and then half of season 3 is figuring out who are we going to get to fill the space, how are we going to get him back without killing him. I want it. I'm a terrible human being. I want it.
That's what we all want.
It's better than murdering him outright.
Oh, I hope they don't do that, but like the pieces are set up for that.
Oh yeah.
It's just.
I said without making eye contact.
He's like, I can't. He's right here.
next to me.
Let's just talk about the cute
And he's got to have a tracking chip or something in his arm because they have dropped a row beast on top of him more than once.
No,
and there's always the how do they know where we are? How do they know how we're gonna be? Like how do they know that we're here?
And the Galra
that guy.
The Galra doesn't seem like. Yeah, I know. I'm reading the chat too.
I was gonna say I'm liking the hashtag protect space dad.
It's fantastic. The Galra doesn't seem like a type of. I don't even know what to put it. I was
Evil
gonna say
empire.
there you go. I was gonna say conglomerate, but that's incorrect.
The Galra conglomerate.
Corporation.
Are we surprised? They're
Not
the
being able
Walmart
to
of
track
space.
all of their tech. Exactly. All their tech. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna be like, we'll just stick it on this person. Bye. Like, I can't see
No,
it.
if he was going to be your greatest weapon, you are gonna have something that can keep him in check.
Yep.
And there's also the theory that they straight up went, okay, we're repressing this, and we're sending you to Earth because we're pretty sure there's a lion there, and we know that's where you're from. So, be a good boy and find it.
Without you knowing that we're actually watching you.
Be a good boy. Just go. Just go.
Now, we're making a lot of speculation, and obviously we don't want any spoilers, but as the person playing Shiro, you must have, I mean, again, I know they keep you guys in the dark for a lot of stuff, but you probably have ideas of where you want the character to go, and we're at the end of the season now. Where would you want this character to go if you could have a say of it?
High in the sky.
I'd like to see more of his history. I'd like to see more of what happened before any of this happened, like when he was still at the garrison, and it doesn't.
Being a big brother.
Yeah,
How did he and Keith know each other?
I'd like to see that. I'd like that to be explored. There's really just backstory. I mean, we've seen what he can do. We've seen what he can do in a fight. We've seen what he can do with a team. We've seen that he has issues. We've seen that there's a lot of problems that he still hasn't dealt with in himself. Problems that he might not even know are there, that are suppressed or something. And I'd like to see that explored more.
Yeah,
I'd like to see more of his relationship with Pidge's family. I mean, it's established that they know each other and that they were obviously close. If he knows Pidge's father well enough to be quoting him, and to be considering him one of the most the smartest people that he ever met. I'd like to see more of that.
I want to see also, like, not to completely like take over if you're continuing, but
Do it. Go.
but I would like to see actually the mission itself before it went awry.
Oh yeah.
You know, like from obviously knowing more about Shiro's past and then like leading up to the mission. Because I mean, I don't know how long they've been on. Do we know what planet they were on?
Kerberos. It was a moon of Pluto.
Thank you.
And it's a thing that exists. I looked it up.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I don't remember. Science, kids. But yeah, I would like to see like what was the plan for that. Were they, like obviously we know there were some things that they were looking for, but let's look for more. Like, what was their full plan? Sure. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I would love to see what happened in his life to make him the type of person that can bring other people together.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and he was obviously some form of prodigy. He's, 25? Which means he went on this mission when he was 24, which means just, like, guys, it's like, I just graduated college. Time to go on one of the biggest space missions we've literally ever had.
But
this
was
is
it a big one, or
groundbreaking.
was it just something that was just a research mission? I mean,
It's further than
don't-
they've ever gone. It's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
also, how many missions has Shiro been on before he got to this mission too?
Well, he can't have been out of the academy for very long. He's too young.
Yeah.
True.
It was a routine enough mission though to get you. Doesn't matter if he's a prodigy. They gave it to a rookie. Doesn't matter if he graduated top of his class. They still felt it was safe enough to give it to a rookie.
It was a Venn diagram overlap of the mission being routine enough and him being good enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, boy. Crazy.
And he probably had a good enough temperament where they didn't think that he was gonna pull a Keith. So.
I'm fairly certain Keith just threw a desk at someone when he found out about that. Like, that's how he got kicked out of the garrison. Someone started talking about Shiro. It was like, oh yeah, no, he made a mistake. It was pilot error. He's a cautionary tale. And Keith just flipped a table.
Or like picked up a chair and just chucked it at
Something
someone.
I am sure there was
WWE,
furniture.
people with chairs.
I'm sure there was furniture-related violence.
Sure.
Like, that is my favorite theory for how Keith got kicked out of the academy. It was just furniture.
I like it.
Furniture-related violence because someone was talking smack about Shiro.
He could have also gotten kicked out by making a distraction to try to find more info, like in the way that Katie
what Pidge did,
infiltrated it.
Yeah.
But
The garrison
they're good at
was
making
not
distractions.
smart enough to realize that Pidge and Katie were the same person.
That is
The
true.
garrison is
full of
not good at
lances.
this.
I just love that. I just still love the beginning episode of just like, what is that? It seems like a giant lion, sir. Thanks.
I guess that kind of says it all.
I guess that
I was like,
sums
well.
up the garrison.
We know
And they just
enough
stand
to
there. They're just
Yeah,
like,
they didn't do
"Oh,
anything.
Okay.
They didn't go see what happened to some missing cadets. No, we're just gonna
Let's just check out this giant lion.
like, well, this is occurring.
I feel like missing
what would you
students is
do?
going to cause a lot of
Get
insurance
popcorn.
issues.
I'm like, what about their families? What's happening? They're not like.
I imagine the families
Oh,
are
good
suing
Lord.
the school at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Probably a
Someone
lot of
did
things happening.
fan art of like a memorial for the missing cadets of them in the garrison uniforms.
I thought it was going to be funny and it wasn't.
No, it's really good fan art though. It looks like stills from the show.
Somebody send me
some of
these,
the
even though I'm
fan
gonna
art's
cry.
incredible.
I think I think I put it on Tumblr at some point, so I'm sure it's living in my Voltron tag.
Oh, it's awesome.
My Voltron tag is a red versus blue quote because I have no shame. Let's talk about the ending of this season. Let's talk
we
about
have
how we're
to?
all just gonna lie here and
Because there's
sob
stuff we haven't
horribly.
even touched on, like, I don't
We need
know.
to talk about Face.
Yeah!
We need to
Whoa.
talk about this Galra who was on the bridge for the entire episode, was addressed by name, was obviously high up enough in the chain of command to be on the bridge and for Zarkon to know his name.
Yep.
Like, this is a thing. And he's the one that goes in, destroys a droid, and takes the shield down so Voltron can escape.
Yeah.
We know nothing about this man!
Full of nothing. He's like, boop, there you go.
So there's theories that he's actually the prince. There's theories that he's Keith's dad. There's who knows. Those are
Whoa,
the big two,
what?
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have never put two and two together on that one, but that would make sense.
Have you ever seen a fandom on hiatus?
That is no. I mean, I've seen the artwork. I've seen some really weird
friends who
artwork.
There
are
are
into-
bulletin boards with like just
No,
like
like there's no
style strings
Yes,
everywhere.
everywhere.
It's like a beautiful mind.
The Sherlock fandom is the worst. The Sherlock fandom is the biggest, completely
Oh,
insane
God.
because they've had the longest to wait. The Ruby fandom has gone completely
seen-
nuts.
Yeah.
And the Voltron fandom is definitely getting there.
They're just rocking
Like-
back and forth in the fetal position.
Oh, the theories of fan art,
Scattered in the
all
wormhole.
the crazy stuff going on. Season two. Which season
dude.
2 was confirmed
No.
at Comic-Con, you guys.
Yes.
Supposedly later this year.
It's
I'm
coming.
excited.
I don't
So-
know the release date. I wish I knew because I want to see it.
I heard someone say November, but they were unable to confirm that with any press releases or links, so I hesitate to put any money on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Just
No,
tell
until I
later
get like a
this
full
year.
like an actual date. I'm not.
Yeah,
saying
or
it.
You
even
know
like
they're gonna pull a Five Nights at Freddy's and just drop it with no warning.
I'm okay with that too, because I'll be like, guys, I'm
And
taking off
here
of
it
work.
is.
Goodbye. I love you, family. Wedding plans are
know if
off.
they
I'm
would.
watching.
I don't know if they would because they did a lot of promo for this one.
No, this is
True.
true.
That is
And
true.
I mean, I've been part of other Netflix shows that have done that, where they just kind of drop it and it's there and it's up. But they've really done a lot of promotion for this show. So I don't think that they're going to let season 2 just kind of show up. I think that.
By
would
the
be-
way,
That'd be crazy. I would like it though.
I think everyone would lose their collective minds more so than we already
I was
have.
gonna say, I'm like, what's
Because I
left?
feel like if we know a due date, there's
ask
going to be
that.
ramping up to it, and there's going to be preparations, and there's going to be watch parties. I would love to throw a watch party. Oh my god, I'd be down.
Yep.
Just like,
Don't you mean a clock party? You don't remember that? Oh man,
Oh,
that was one of my
no,
favorite
that's
jokes
right,
from the show.
yes.
How could you forget clock party?
hang on
Wait
a
a
tick,
tick.
I needed a minute.
You guys having a clock party? I was like,
You ruined the
one of
clock
the
party,
best
Lance.
lines.
You ruined it. Also, welcome back to the land of the living.
Like, I
How are
want
you?
to know if he ever has gone to a clock party, because the way he says it, it's like a thing.
It's like Longaburger parties.
Like, who has clock parties?
I guess like when you're at the garrison, you have to find ways of entertaining yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe
You know,
they
the
throw-
third time that you've been on probation because you snuck out to go meet ladies who turned you down anyway.
I believe in you, Lance. I believe in you, buddy. We've both been there. It's okay.
Probation because you snuck out to hit on ladies?
Yes.
Okay.
All the time.
This is a story that I need. So we have Thace, about whom we know nothing except for his name and face at this point.
Well, and that he's either, well, we've seen before that the Galra can be very ambitious. He could have, I mean, what we see here, it's implied that he is doing this to subvert Zarkon in some way, whether it's to overtly help them or to advance his own career path is completely left up to...
That's a possibility too, because
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Pro Rock. Was it Pro Rock?
Yes.
Who was the
Yeah,
one
he's
that,
Still alive.
that just kind of went
He-
against orders and went
Yep.
and did this, and then
Pride
ended up
cometh
screwing up
before
and-
the
Yeah,
fall.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Thace was trying to throw Pro Rock under the bus with this one.
Or
it's a
he-
political
Or
move.
he
that one's
could
good.
still be working. This could have been a Pro Rock move. You know, if Thace is his right-hand man and Pro Rock is still actively trying to get ahead, you know, that might have been a good way of being able to stall for something that they have planned. Or
But this is an active military maneuver under Pro Rock's command at this point. He is the one commanding the fleet, and that's part of what's reining Voltron in. So to have the shield fall on his watch,
that's true.
that's a good way to get murdered by the guy
Victory
in
or
charge.
death.
No, we're gonna go with death tonight. It's like,
But
I wasn't expecting such a run on tea. We're out.
it does. It raises so many questions, though.
Season 2.
Boo.
it's gonna be a
And
good
we
season.
wind up with everyone separated. So we're gonna have part of a season. I'm sure it'll be a good chunk of the season going, how are we gonna get the band back together? Allura knows where the lions are, but God knows where they're gonna spit out the castle of lions, and everyone's just, you know, at the rear end of space. All over. God knows where.
Yeah.
Yep. And how much time it takes to, I feel like that's gonna take a while. If they just resolve it in the first episode, which it would be really nice, but at the same time,
Anticlimactic.
it would be anticlimactic
Yeah.
and it would be a cheat because the show is really good and it's really good about pacing itself out. And I feel like that would just be kind of a cop out to this big problem that has been presented to them.
So I think at this point, does anyone have any final thoughts before we roll into predictions? Because we'll do predictions
No.
and then iTunes and then wrap up. So we have a plan.
No, my stuff's mostly all in like prediction territory. So
Just, I would just want to reiterate how nice it was to see the princess, like, you know, get
Heck
into
yeah.
the swing of things.
Yes.
Awesome.
Because her,
Kicked butt. man.
yeah, she was great.
so much.
And Koran stepping up Koran attack killed me.
Yes.
So good.
Happy. But yeah, just everything was so well done. It was so well put together. Swinging into predictions territory, we are going to talk about the trailer that was released at San Diego Comic-Con. So if that's something that you haven't seen and that you don't want to talk about, if you want to remain unspoiled, you may want to turn off the stream for the next couple of minutes because things occurred in this trailer, you guys. So here's your warning. Cut it now. That trailer. Good God.
You
Okay.
monsters!
I didn't make it to Comic-Con this year. I was in Keystone at an academic conference for my job.
See, I was
And it was
at
the
Comic Con and I didn't even get to that panel because I was
no.
working. I was like, what's happening? My phone was ringing because of Katie and like other people, and I was like, what is happening? The world is ending.
I was getting all this news on Twitter about everyone
Yeah.
losing their minds
Yep,
about
same,
Voltron.
same.
Like, I feel really bad for everyone who followed me because of my day job as an academic person. Because this is no longer a Canvas Twitter. This is a full-on fandom Twitter.
Here there be
I'm
monsters.
sorry. Y'all expected me to be an adult. That's over with. So this trailer starts with a black screen, and do you want to deliver this line? Do you want to do it?
I'm gonna see if I remember it. Hold on. Keith, if I don't make it out of here, I want you to pilot the Black Lion. No, that's not right.
I want you to lead Voltron.
I want you to lead Voltron. That's right. Well,
Could've
same
done
thing.
good.
Still broke my heart in either way, shape, and form.
You could hear a pin drop, I swear. Oh.
Yep. We have a minute delay before chat gets that, so I'm just
but
waiting.
That's gonna be fun.
But the internet just exploded.
Lost it.
That was crazy.
And most of the trailer was stills, was little bitty bits of we get to see a drone empire, we see an underwater planet, we see all sorts of stuff, but it's not enough to have any.
Yep, there it is.
Chat just got it. Everyone's crying. It's
But
great.
yes,
Everyone's losing their minds.
for Hassan in the chat, yes, the trailer nowhere to be found on the internet.
There is one place on Tumblr that might still have it.
Yes,
I was
you
trying
might
to
have
find it too.
Yeah,
because-
I was trying to rewatch it before the show. Nothing.
Yeah.
So maybe Tumblr.
I
But
might
somebody
have a
drew
link,
it
I
out
don't
on
know.
Tumblr, but I mean there wasn't really much to draw out for it.
And
but,
then
yeah.
just that bit at the end with Shiro going into white light and Keith screaming his name, like, okay, we're good, we're fine,
No, I
everything's
said you
great.
like the dog was sitting in the house on fire. We're fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's
You know they did a
fine.
new comic for that dog in which the dog realizes that everything is not
Yes,
fine.
yes, that was really sad. I loved it.
Yep.
But
So
this is what I mean by saying the show knows what it's doing. It knows the implication of saying things like that. It knows that its audience is aware of that level of dramatic irony.
I could just see all the writers just being like, excellent.
the sheer amount of fan art that has the next scene after that with Keith going, nope, we're getting out of this together. You don't get a say in it. I will carry you out. Nope.
So do they just cackle evilly when you guys come to table reads? Did they just sit in
Well-
swivel
Just
chairs
like-
menacingly,
I
petting
gotta-
cats and laughing maniacally?
First, let's talk about
Megatron.
that. First, let's talk about that panel. I thought that because I actually watched the where I was keeping up with it, and then I finally found the stream, and then I was like thinking to myself, this is like really devious. This was like total knife twist territory because it's like,
yeah.
hey, we got a Voltron panel, sweet, awesome. Everybody's all excited, everybody's happy. Hey, look, Stephen Yoon's here, surprise! Yeah, woo! All right, sweet, awesome, awesome. Hey, we're gonna show you some new stuff. Yes, awesome, woo, woo, woo. Keith, if I were making I want you to lead Voltron. And it was right at the end too, when it was going out on such a high, and it was kind of hilarious to me. And kind of horrid at the same time. I was just like, oh my god, I feel for all of you.
Well, so far
crazy.
this series has been really good at literal last-minute emotional devastation.
Yes.
Oh, did you need those heartstrings? We're gonna tear them out and then leave them on the floor, and you can't have them back till season 2.
Also, okay.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they lit it on fire for me. It was just like they are not there. They are non-existent. I have to get new ones for season 2.
But I feel like that's the nature of that is just kind of what a lot of Netflix shows are doing because
Yeah.
they know that binge watching is the nature
Oh,
of
yeah.
things.
Yep.
You get a really solid hook just at the end of the episode, so you immediately go on to the next one.
Right.
Throwing fuel on the dumpster fire. We're all just sitting here trying to breathe. The studio is overheated. We're all dying.
Do we want to make any further predictions? Because
We don't have a lot of time.
yeah.
I feel like
The
we did a lot of
one that
screaming, but not
I-
predicting.
No, I'm not.
I have
ready.
one. I think I picked it up from Tumblr.
Do you want me to read the iTunes reviews before you wreck my life?
No, because that's a different section.
Okay, cool.
As someone came up, I think it might have been from Tumblr. Someone came up with
God.
this theory. I love it, and it hurts, and it's terrible. The idea that Galra weaponry and Galra technology runs on that neon grape juice quintessence that we've seen, including Shiro's arm. And when it runs out of Galra quintessence, it starts running on his.
No! Why? Why would you do that? Oh my god! 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 I can't.
And Alexis is dead. Thanks for that, Katie. Alexis is dead now. Are you happy?
I regret nothing.
Life, guys.
So I don't know if I'd like to actually see that one play out on screen. I feel like that goes a little darker. That every
Would it just
theory
turn
that
into
I
like a
posit is
Shiro raisin? Or?
yeah, no, right? He would just get more and more tired.
Oh. But it's a great theory though. Like that's a very interesting.
Like, it would be very interesting to see, and then having to race against time to figure out how to get
But in the same way, for the accidentally killing the Holtz without knowing it theory, like I feel like everything I've posited that has just broken you in half has been a place that the show will not go because it's too dark.
I don't know.
I mean,
man.
I don't know. That last theory that you just said could be doable because they could just always just have the end part where like, we got it, guys. Everything's okay.
And
We just need to go steal some quintessence and do it successfully this time.
I'm sorry, but between watching like Kubo and the Two Strings and where Steven Universe has gone, I'm like, no, show will go that dark.
I mean, it is
like,
on Netflix. I think it will
believe
happen.
it. I believe it.
Oh, I'm not ready. I wasn't ready.
So we are definitely getting the wrap-up sign, and we're not allowed to go over tonight because there are people who need this space.
Oops.
So, yep, that's a thing, you guys. We're no longer the last show in here.
Oh, that's right, because we're here earlier.
Yeah, we are. Okay. So, do we have any last theories?
No, just sleeper agent.
Sleeper agent, tracking chip, potentially half Galra Keith.
I feel like they're gonna play around a lot more with the princess being more on the front lines.
Yes.
Like
I
again,
agree.
they know what they're doing. They understand dramatic irony. I feel like they're gonna play around a lot more with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing where that takes them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have chat? If you have any last thoughts, now's the time to put them in because we have a slight delay. In the meantime, real quick, we are going to talk about iTunes.
Do it.
Thank you so much for everyone who has left a review. You guys are wonderful human beings, and you are quite literally what keeps us going. If you like this show, if you want to see more of this show, if you want us to come back for season 2, whenever the heck that winds up being, later this year, ? We don't know. The best thing you can do for us is to go onto iTunes, find our show, search AfterBuzz Voltron, we are there, rate, comment, subscribe, leave a review, say how much you like the show, because our producers look at those reviews and say, wow, they really like these people talking about giant robots. We should allow these people to continue talking about giant robots.
Yes.
You really should. Write a review.
It got us to season 2 of Robots in Disguise. It took us to season 2 of Voltron. So if you want us back, that's the best thing you can do. And if you leave a review, we give you a shout out on the air. Do we have any new ones this week?
We have 2.
All right.
One, 5 stars. Love It by Snack Barbarian. I love your username.
What a good name.
Quick and simple. Can't wait for next season. Thank you.
Yes.
And last one is by Gigawatt Conduit.
Conduit?
Thank you. It's late.
It
is. Form the Awesome. 5 stars.
Oh.
One of the best ABTV podcasts I've heard. Love the dissections and the jokes. Also, Shiro is totally right. It's blam, blam, blam. I agree. I totally agree with you. And that was how what we have so far.
Well, thank you guys
Thank you
so
guys.
much. Seriously, leave a review. We'll give you a shout out when we come back. Do we have any last thoughts from chat? Anything they want us to cover that we didn't?
They want
Real quick.
a musical episode. That's about it.
Oh my god!
I'd be down for that. I'd totally be down for that.
Voltron the musical.
Sign me up.
Yep, we have like 3 people in the chat that are like, Voltron musical episode, please, please, please.
Literally everything is made better when you add the musical to the end.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I want Corinne to sing so bad.
Josh, do you have any projects that you're working on that you want to tell the world about that
I actually
aren't under NDA?
I have another show that's coming out midnight tonight, actually, on Netflix called Kulapari. And it's based on a book series called An Army of Frogs that ex-NFL player Trevor Price wrote. And it's great. It's a fun show. It drops
Couple hours.
in like 2 hours. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Check it out, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
today.
having
we
me.
Had
I
a blast.
I had a great time. I was really looking forward to this.
All right, and we are wrapping this up, you guys. We will see you next season. Alexis, where can the people find you?
You can find me where all shenanigans will ensue at atorres890 and probably crying for the next few months.
Yeah, pretty much. Josh?
I'm on Twitter as @Josh Keaton, and I'm starting up I have a Snapchat, but I never use it, but I'll start now. It's Kosh Jeeton. And I think I'm Space Padre on Instagram.
Of course you are.
That's great. So much. Fantastic. I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. I also just did an I Talk Movies earlier tonight about the upcoming indie film Summer of 8. Be sure to check that out. It was a great, great time.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. Most of my shows are on bi- or tri-weekly basis at this point. So Steven Universe will be back next month. Camp will be back in a few weeks. almost every fall show I'm doing will be back in 2 weeks, so stay tuned for
Okay.
that, guys. That's gonna be wild. In the meantime, check out my YouTube channel. We do all sorts of fun stuff there, mostly reaction videos. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us all season, and we will see you when season 2 comes back.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Current attack!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.